Hi, Dyslexic Genius here. What we're going to assemble is the winding crank mechanism, gear train, the ratchet, and the paw. So let's get started on this. This is the main shaft. This is where the crank hooks up. And this piece down here runs in here. So really when you put this in like this, set in like this, you can see the wear marks even after polishing. This never gets oiled. So we want to use STP so the oil will stay there a longer time and run a lot smoother. And you can see that we've gotten all the grease and crud off the motor in the disassembly. First, we're going to put a little drop where it runs right there. And we're going to put a little drop when it runs right there. Remember I said it runs on there. You can see we polished out most of the burrs, got them all out. Put that right here on that lip, like that. It's very important that we get that lip in. I use a Starbucks stopper that you can get. I use those all the time to lube things up. So go to Starbucks and get a mocha and tell them I need a stopper. And then say, hey, this guy on YouTube thinks I need a bunch of these. So we get a bunch of them. Now we're going to do the shaft to the gear. And just put some on that. And the edge right here, down here, runs on the top of the gear. So the ooze out, don't wipe it off. Because when you put this in, like that, you're going to have a little oozing around the edges because the gear turns like that. Now we have a really small washer that fits on the bottom of this. And how do we line this? We just push that back gently like that. And we slide in, find everything, and it pops in like that. Remember, I had to beat it out because of all the grease and crap. Now we're going to put the nut on. There's a flat side and the outside. And then you see where they used a crescent wrench that rounded off the ends. That's the point. I always use a ratchet or I use this tool like this. It has a ratchet head on the end like a socket. I'll just crank this up a little. And now it all runs smoothly. Now what we have is to do the paw and the ratchet. We have a little washer here. This is the only one that's going to use a little bit of sewing machine oil because it's like a friction washer on there, just a little bit. Doesn't take a lot. We'll put this in. Now we will take the ratchet, put that in. We will flip over now. I'll come up, that'll be easier. Now we're going to put the paw in. The paw comes in like this. So I'll do that and lock. Now the problem arises that we have this screw with this recessed area there that fits in here. And it's a little bit tricky to get in there. And then when I was taking the machine apart, I said that this slot wasn't big enough. A hacksaw blade is about the same width, so I hacksawed it down so that the screwdriver would fit better on reassembly. So the trick is you lift the ratchet paw up to get it into like this. You see how it lines up with that? And you just kind of hold it with your thumbnail. Now it's aligned. We come back with a screwdriver, a regular screwdriver, and we'll tighten this up. Now what we're going to do is flip it over. We're going to rotate the shaft, and we're going to line, you see in this hole where it sees silver, and then watch when I come around, there we go. So we'll go closed and we're open. Now what we're going to do is set that there like that. Now we're going to take this piece, which fits in like, have it backwards. The indention here goes in, so this comes in, and things will move around and you're going to have to realign. There we go, realign that. I lost the pin. The pin went someplace. How did Brett do that? Well, Brett lost the pin. Ah, here's the pin. It was hiding from me. It was like hide and seek when you were a child. Yes, that happens to me once in a while. One eyeball, you know, what do you expect? We're going to line that up. We have a pointed end and a flat end. We will put this in.
Pointed end down.
Yeah, down. Now, you have to be very careful when you put that in, because if you go too far this way, that pin will hit something. So there, lock, it spins and locks. Spins and locks. Very good. Now all we have to do, this has all been oiled and adjusted when we were doing the governor video. We'll slide this in. And when you slide this in, you move the governor, everything around, you spin it, and there we go, that's in. Now all you have to do is insert this gear, which will go this way in.
Are you going to do that now?
I can, right here, it hits this. So we'll put this on, and we will lube this with sewing machine oil. Lube the other end with sewing machine oil. And this will fit like that. Now let me go to the vise. And we'll open up the vise because we're going to drop the spindle shaft down. There we go. Now on the casting, you have a wear mark and a small brass washer that fits in here like that. We're going to take the spring barrels. We're going to generously lube that one and that one. You can see the wear mark from that washer. We will come in. See how that hooks up? And we will come back with this one. There we go. Now because we've lubed everything, we know that this is the spindle shaft bearing end. So we know the spindle shaft's over here. We'll flip this around. There you go. Now we'll put in the 4 screws. We'll oil each one. You just take the little bit of sewing machine oil. You want to come over and do this side. You're going to cross the screws when you're bolting it in like a head on a car engine. So you get the same thing. Want to make sure that they start. And we're going to tighten them down the same way. And the reason I do this, like you do a head on bolting a head on an engine, is because if you tighten these two down, this side can lift or move. That way you're getting everything down. You get everything down, not tight, but just kind of snug, and make sure all the screws are going in easily, which they are. Now we'll tighten that one down, that one down, that one down, and that one down. And that's all there is to assembling a Chaney motor. Now we'll do a little crank up. Crank. Don't want to go too far because we don't have the speed control in there yet. Yeah, it's going to run. Nothing to it. But I made a mistake, and we have to go back. In my hurriedness. Lo and behold, Brett boo-booed, and I forgot that washer. Now I'm going to have to take it all apart and put that washer in here and then try it again. And you didn't think I made boo-boos. I do this once in a while. Oh well, and that's my tip for the day.